Hello and welcome to lesson number 26 in my guitar technique series, and this is another lesson on harmonics. You might think I've been doing a lot of harmonics, and I have, because there's a lot to say, and I kind of thought, looking at the last two lessons, that maybe I missed a few bits. So I made this diagram up, this kind of chart, and I'll give you a link to this, and it kind of tells you everything you need to know about the harmonics. And where to find them and what notes you get. It still doesn't explain them scientifically. I'm sorry I can't do that, but I'm sure there are others on the internet that can. So what I've done here, I've put the fret number down the side and everything you find on that fret. So I've gone fret 3, fret 4, 5, 7, 9, 12. And obviously they go beyond that, they go higher than that, but they kind of repeated. So this should more or less wrap everything up harmonics wise. So the first fret we're going to find harmonics on, 3rd fret. Let's just take the D string as an example. If I play this harmonic on the 3rd fret of the D string, it's the same as the 17th fret of the high-pitched E string. It's a note of A. So it's actually 2 octaves and a 5th above the open string. So the open string is D, there's an octave, and there's another octave, and there's a 5th, so 2 octaves and a 5th above the open string. If I was going to fret that that string there, 3rd fret, that would be a note of F, so it's 2 octaves and a 3rd above that. So the note you get there, 3rd fret of the D string, is a note of A. So think of it as kind of a 3rd above what you have if you fret the note 3rd and 2 octaves. Let's go to the 4th fret. So if I go to the 4th fret of the D string, you can hear it's a lower note. It's a weird thing about harmonics, isn't it? They don't go the way you think. So this is the 4th fret harmonic on the D string. It's an F sharp. It's actually that note there. Okay, which is the 14th fret of the E string. So it's 2 octaves and a 3rd above the open string. So there's the open string, there's the 3rd. So D, E, F sharp, and it's that note there. So it's 2 octaves and a 3rd above the open string, and it's a clean 2 octaves above the fretted note there. And so we get these. They're a little bit clearer than the 3rd fret. But not as strong as the harmonics you get on the 5th or the 7th or the 12th fret. And remember, I spoke to you about this checking the tuning with the 4th fret of the G and the 5th fret of the B, which is the same note. Alright, let's go to the 5th fret now. We've dealt with this one before. So I play open D string, and I play the harmonic on the 5th fret. It's actually 2 octaves above the open string, so there's the D, there's the octave, there's 2 octaves, so it's the same as that note there, or that note there, 10th fret of the E string, a note of D, like that, and it's an octave and a 5th above the fretted note. So if I fret this note, it's the G, go up a 5th, and then an octave, you see? So it's 2 octaves above the open string, and it's an octave and a 5th above the fretted note. In the last video I spoke about false or artificial harmonics, and you can do these using the 5th fret. In that last one I just showed you doing 12th fret. This is 5th fret. So let's have an example. On the chart here I've quoted an example. I've said the artificial is going to be 2 octaves above the fretted note. So let's say I hold down the 5th fret of the D string, play the note, it's a normal note, and that is a note of G. Now if I come up 5, okay, so I'll go to the 10th fret and I do one of these artificial harmonics, like that. So this is a G also, but it's 2 octaves above the fretted note. So there's G, and there is G 2 octaves higher. Let's get this sound recorder in a bit closer because it's a bit faint, isn't it? A bit quiet. The actual fretted note there is a C, okay? So the harmonic note is an octave and a fifth higher than the C note. So there's an octave, and then that's the actual pitch of the harmonic you get there. Okay, and there is the harmonic. As you can hear, they're quite hard to get. You have to remember to push in a little bit with the finger, not press it right down, just push in a little bit, dip the string a bit, and I'm playing the string with the plectrum behind the finger on the same string. You see that? If you don't strike it just right, you get a little bit of the original pitch as well, like the fretted pitch. So that's the 5th fret. So on that 5th fret, just to recap, the note is an octave and a fifth above the fretted note. It's 2 octaves above the open string. Let's go to the 7th fret now. The harmonic on the 7th fret is an octave and a fifth above the open string. So open D, okay, so come up an octave, up to a fifth. So it's the same as playing the 5th fret of the E string. That's the actual pitch of it, a note of A. Okay? So it's an octave and a fifth above the open string, and it's an octave above the fretted note. So the fretted note is 7th fret of the D would be a note of A, and you can hear the harmonic is the same pitch, but an octave higher. It's still an A, but an octave higher. If we say that the harmonic on the 7th fret is an octave and a fifth above the open string, if you fret the D string and do a harmonic, a false harmonic, an artificial harmonic, 7 frets higher, then the harmonic is going to be, this false harmonic is going to be an octave and a fifth above the fretted note. So the fretted note on the 7th fret is A. So if I do a false harmonic on the 14th fret, my false 7th fret is actually an E note, the equivalent of 12th fret of the E string. Okay? Let's go to the 9th fret now. Now essentially, you can hear it's the same set of harmonics that you get on the 4th fret. So it's 2 octaves and a third above the open string. So there's the open D string, there's the harmonic on the 9th fret, and that's the same as 14th fret of the E string, which is the note F sharp. And it's an octave and a fifth above the fretted note. The fretted note there is a B, so the harmonic is an octave and a fifth above that, see? So B up to an F sharp. 9th fret, like the 4th fret and the 3rd fret, not particularly good for doing the artificial harmonics. I tend to do those on the 5th and the 7th and the 12th fret. Let's come up to the 12th fret. We've done this before, just to recap. So if I do 12th fret of the D string, the harmonic is 1 octave above the open string, and it's the same pitch as the fretted note on the 12th fret. So it's all the same. Okay, so 12th fret of D string harmonic equals 12th fret of D string, the D note. So any false harmonics, any artificial harmonics will be an octave above the fretted note and the same pitch as the actual position. So if I hold down the 1st fret of the D string, play that note, that's a D sharp. If I do an artificial harmonic on the 13th fret, which is essentially the 12th fret now, isn't it, because I'm holding down the 1st fret. Okay, you can hear that note is D sharp, an octave above the fretted note, and the same pitch as the 13th fret of the D string. So there's the harmonic, and there's the actual fretted note, and here it's the same. Let's show you some examples. Holding some chord shapes down. Let's try this 5th fret harmonic. So if I do an F shape on the 3rd fret, like this, okay, I've got a G chord, okay. Now, if I want the 5th fret harmonic, I've got to add 5, so I'm on frets 3, 4, 5, so I've got to add 5, so I've got to come up to 8, 9, 10. So I've got 8, 9, 10. And there I had, you you can hear that that chord is 2 octaves higher. So it's still a G major chord, but it's 2 octaves higher than that one. Very quiet. Hope you can hear that okay. So if I keep my chord shape there, but do a 7th fret harmonic, so essentially the same as what I had here on the 7th fret, we're going to come up 7 this time. So I've got my F major shape on the 3rd fret, so it's still a G major chord. I'm going to come up to the 10th fret. Now that is a 5th higher. So if I hang on to my F shape 3rd fret and I come up to the 10th, 11th and 12th frets, I'm going to get the equivalent of a 7th fret harmonic, and this is a 5th higher. So my false harmonics here should give me a D major chord. And in here it is a D major chord. In fact, it's the same pitch as it would be if I held an F shape down on that fret, but just an octave higher. Yeah, so it's and here. That's the 5th fret harmonic, and this is the 7th fret. Okay, and in here it's lower, even though it's higher up the guitar. Same notes, but 2 octaves higher on the 5th fret. And on the 7th fret harmonic, coming across 10, 10, 11, 12, it's actually a 5th higher. Like that. Then an octave higher than the actual octave higher than that. Okay, we're getting there slowly. The 12th fret, I've done this before, just to remind you, if I hold that shape down again, if I come across 15, 16, 17, and here it's an octave higher. So 5th fret gives me 2 octaves higher, 12th fret gives me an octave higher, and the 7th fret harmonic gives me a 5th higher. And of course, you know, it goes up the guitar and you can do more and more, but that's probably enough. So sorry if I burnt your brain there with that. It's pretty complicated. I must admit, it took me a while to sort of figure it all out and do this chart. But if you print this chart out and refer to it, you'll be able to find what you need. And it is lovely. It's very, very handy to be able to get some, you know, weird chords in harmonics. I mean, for instance, you could get a diminished chord here. This is 2nd fret of the D, 2nd fret of the B, 3rd fret of the G, 4th fret of the E, and you could come up an entire octave and have a diminished chord in harmonics like this. Like that, so it's quite handy, isn't it, to be able to do crazy things like that. If I did that coming up 5 frets, so if I did this, like that, that's 2 octaves higher, or if I came up 7th frets, it would be a 5th higher. See, got the chord mapped out in harmonics, and that's a 5th and an octave higher than the actual pitch of the fretted notes. So that's the end of harmonics, I promise. Sorry I've done quite a lot on this, but hopefully you found it interesting, and you'll see me in the next video.